Athens City Council introduces an option to monitor police while they work. Southeast Ohio is ready for students to learn more about marijuana. And in sports, we'll take a closer look at one of OU softball's key players. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Good evening, I'm Caitlin Coolidge. Thanks for joining us. Lawmakers from Ohio House and Senate are meeting today to reach a compromise on a proposed gas tax. A joint committee approved the increase earlier today, sending it to a vote, which lawmakers in support of the increase expect to win. The increase comes in the form of state's transportation budget, which also includes removing requirements of front license plates in Ohio. City Council introduced an ordinance last night to spend more than $200,000 to buy body cameras for the police department. If the ordinance passes, the department would receive 20 body cameras and 20 tasers. Lieutenant Anthony Fish says these cameras will help create a better record on what they're doing in the field.
From like interrogations, questioning suspects, witness information gathering, it'll help us keep a record. So I think, yeah, it would definitely, it's definitely something that would benefit the officer on the street.
Athens Police Chief Chom Pyle says police chiefs from Chillicothe, Lancaster, and Logan are already using similar body cameras, and they've been pleased with the results. The money to afford the new equipment would come from the city's general fund, but several council members said at last night's meeting they hope the police department could help with the cost as well. The Kennedy Lecture Series at Ohio University aims to bring speakers to campus who appeal to a broad cross-section of the community. The discussions revolve around significant issues in American life. Yesterday, the speaker was Anita Hill, who came to talk about her experiences dealing with sexual harassment in the workplace. Our reporter, Taylor Brook, has the story.
Hundreds of students and community members lined up outside of Memorial Auditorium on Ohio University's campus to hear women's rights icon Anita Hill speak. Her speech was titled From Social Movement to Social Impact, putting an end to sexual harassment in the workplace. In 1991, at the Senate Judiciary Confirmation hearing for Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, Ms. Hill testified that Justice Thomas had sexually harassed her. Since then, she has inspired a generation of activists to fight sexual harassment and the unequal treatment of women. The auditorium was packed with people eager to hear Hill speak about how to end sexual harassment by creating positive change within organizations. Marissa Owens, a student at Ohio University and a survivor herself, came to the event and left feeling more inspired.
Hearing these stories helps encourage other women, other men, other people who've been through this to come forward.
Patty Stokes, assistant professor in women's gender and sexuality studies at Ohio University, was motivated by Hill's speech. Being the president of the board of the Survivor Advocacy Program at Ohio University, she wants to continue to make Ohio University a safer place.
I think that we need to be doing more to train faculty and staff, not just to comply with policy and the law, but also to recognize, as Professor Hill said, when something is going off the rails, when somebody is violating boundaries.
Just like Hill mentioned during her speech, Stokes believes that it takes more than a survivor and more than just an institution to make change, but a community as a whole.
You know, it's not just on the university structure, it's also on all of us who are part of a culture to make that change.
Hill has been advocating for this cause for over 3 decades now and says she will continue to advocate.
I'd rather be doing something that is not reaping benefits immediately than looking back and saying, I wish I had done more.
She left the audience with a positive note.
Really give thanks for the things that have changed and understand that you have the ability to change more.
Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Taylor Brook.
Hill is now a university professor of social policy, law, and women's gender and sexuality studies at Brandeis University. She is also the chair of the Commission on Sexual Harassment and Advanced Equality in the Workplace.
Well, it was a beautiful day as you went out and about. Today was much warmer than yesterday. Hi, everybody. I'm forecaster Nicholas Snyder. Look at this temperature, 57 degrees right now in Athens. Very dry air mass overhead, a humidity of only 24%. Pressure's at 30.06 and falling as an area of high pressure moves out of the area, and winds are out of the southwest at 4 miles an hour all across the area. Again, just beautiful. Sunny skies. Temperatures are in the upper 50s and lower 60s even. Look at this, 60 degrees in Ripley in Ironton. Just beautiful. 58 Jackson, 57 in Chillicothe. Again, all under mainly sunny skies, and we're going to see the same beautiful weather as we go throughout the next couple of days. Warming up is our first headline. Beautiful weekend is in store. We could see some temperatures in the lower and middle 70s, but rain is in store for the beginning of next week. We'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast in the next couple of minutes. Caitlin, are you excited for this beautiful weekend ahead?
Oh, of course, Nick. Yes, definitely. Thanks for that update. We'll look forward to your forecast later on the show. A man in West Virginia is facing charges after trying to abduct a child at a mall. Police say a woman was shopping with her 5-year-old daughter when a man grabbed the girl by her hair and tried to pull her away. The mother pulled out a gun and told the suspect to let go of the child. The suspect was later caught by mall security and is being held on a $200,000 bond. The Ohio Attorney General is calling for a new report on pain management. Dave Yost says a report by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services suggests doctors can rely solely on their judgment when recommending opioids, rather than using evidence-based recommendations, and does not explicitly state that there is no completely safe opioid dosage. He says the report should be revised to follow guidelines already published by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for decreasing opioid misuse. Coming up, we'll take a look at what medical marijuana in Ohio means for the Southeast region. That story and more when Newswatch returns.
Is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box. But the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
Welcome in, Hardwood fans. Now, as you know, we've already aired our season finale where you see all these great people behind me who made our all-hero and all-feature teams. But that doesn't mean our coverage stops. There are still a lot of teams in the playoffs and games left to be played. So if you want to stay up to date with all that and all the other TVC action, then go follow our social media. Like us on Facebook, add us on Snapchat, and follow us on Twitter. And always remember to be heroic.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
Ohio's medical marijuana law took effect in September of 2016. Now, a little more than 2 years later, qualifying residents are finally able to purchase the drug. Newswatch reporter Nick Mullins takes an in-depth look at what this means for southeastern Ohio.
Heading this groundbreaking movement for Hawken College is Dr. Jonathan Cachet, the director of the Cannabis Lab Technician program. He has a passion for studying how drugs impact the brain and behavior. He saw the disconnect in how society views cannabis versus its potential therapeutic value. And that disconnect even made it very difficult to get cannabis to study.
And I realized the disconnect, the sort of glaring disconnect between the science, where are the actual fatalities or toxicity or its actual potential harm to people, versus what the laws were. I mean, for cannabis, for example, completely mismatched, completely misscheduled.
After spending time in California working professionally in the cannabis industry, Cachet decided to come back to his home state of Ohio for one reason. The state had a unique provision enabling lab testing. He reached out to colleges, and Hawken College answered his call.
And I said, Ohio has set this mandate for the app. Are you interested in applying? And the president basically said, look, guys, doesn't matter what we personally feel about whether cannabis should be used in a medicinal setting or not. The state has set a bar for testing, and we should step up to that mandate.
And they did just that. In August of 2019, the program will begin, making Hawken College the first college in the country to offer an associate's degree in laboratory science with a major in cannabis.
Being the nation's first 2-year associate's degree with cannabis as a major, cannabis lab tech, is a pretty enormous step. No other universities have gone this far.
While Cachet's program will be focusing on testing cannabis that will be sold to the public, Dr. Diraj Vatem, a research scientist at Ohio University, has a different approach to medical marijuana.
And my lab specifically works on anti-inflammatory effects of cannabis, and also how it affects some of the neurodegenerative diseases. So it's a comprehensive project that we have both the chemistry and the biology of it.
Second-year medical student Morgan Homan works with Vatem, studying neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's to find out how cannabis can potentially have a positive impact on the disease. They use fruit flies and worms.
We take the cannabis and the dry leaf and we extract the compounds that we're testing out of it using methanol. And we get this kind of distilled liquor, I guess you could say. We take that and we put it into the food for flies or worms or anything else that we're testing, and we grow them so that they're ingesting that as part of their diet. We take them and then other organisms that were grown without the cannabis extract, and we compare them in different behavioral tests. And that's generally how we're seeing how it affects behavior.
Holman says fruit flies are the stepping stone in cannabis research. Their genes are very dissimilar to the way humans develop Alzheimer's. What a lot of people don't know is that there are more similarities than you would think, just because of the fact that they're a living organism.
The next step? Testing compounds in higher-level organisms like mice and rats, which will eventually lead to human trials. Homan does not know what the outcome of the test will be, but his personal connection to the research makes him eager to find out.
My grandfather died of Alzheimer's a couple years back, and so it's something that's kind of been near and dear to my heart. Finding some way to slow the progression of these types of diseases, or ultimately some way to stop the progression of neurodegenerative diseases, would be absolutely incredible. And I don't know if cannabis is going to be that compound. I don't know, exactly how far this will go, where it will lead. But the fact that I get to delve into, the mysteries of learning and memory and the more intangible side of things is what really excites me.
Jonathan Cachet and his Hawken College team find excitement too in what cannabis could potentially do for the medical world.
We now have an option that's available where the benefits are potentially really high. And if you want to talk about like Parkinson's or Alzheimer's disease, ALS, the benefits are potentially you could never get those things, or the progression of what you already have won't continue.
Nancy Wells, a senior analytical chemist, began her research at the lab a couple months ago and explained the various testing they conduct at a Hawken College lab to guarantee the safety of medical marijuana. They do so by testing for pesticides. There are 21 that are considered harmful, and any dose can cause bad side effects. Nancy and her team also look for mycotoxins in the cannabis. They are a byproduct of fungus that they don't want in their samples.
Another thing that we have to do is test for heavy metals. And for Ohio, there's 4. There's arsenic, mercury, lead, and cadmium. Because they're harmful to human health.
In conducting these tests, the Hawken College lab is making sure cannabis is safe for medical use.
So you're not going to get sick. You know what's in it, or you know that the contaminants are not in it. You know what is actually in it.
When asked if medical marijuana can change the medical field, Vatem said much more research needs to be done.
And when a pharmaceutical drug is actually launched for the public, it undergoes extensive testing, both in terms of its safety as well as in terms of its efficacy.
Dr. Cachet, however, believes the drug has many proven benefits already, even with a majority of the research still ongoing.
So the notion that you hurt your back, the first move we're going to do, aspirin didn't work, Tylenol didn't move, okay, we're going to opiates. The risk benefit there is, well, it works. I'm going to be constipated, I might be addicted, my dose is going to have to go up. There's risks and benefits. With cannabis, for example, though, potential risks are enormous, or potential benefits are enormous. Potential risks are very little to none. We know you're not going to die. We know you're not going to OD.
However, the researchers working with medical marijuana agree there is a promising future for the study of cannabis.
On the cannabis side of things, there is a lot of evidence that is not scientifically backed that suggests that it may have some, positive effects on human health. But what is not known is what are some of the potential compounds that are present in cannabis that could be responsible for it.
I think it's exciting to kind of be on the forefront of something new, anything new really. I mean, cannabis is right now still, just because it's been illegal for so long, it is still kind of new in the research phase.
As the research continues to grow, medical cannabis is becoming more accessible. There are 2 dispensaries expected to open in Southeast Ohio in the near future. The Ohio softball team is 24-11 on the season, and a lot of that has to do with one senior slugger who is rewriting the Ohio history books. Newswatch reporter Nick Mullins has the story.
Senior Morgan Gino. In 3 years, she has cemented herself in the Ohio softball record books. On Saturday, March 23rd, the senior tied Ohio's all-time RBI record at 137 with one swing of the bat, a grand slam that helped lead the Bobcats in a win over Bowling Green. And then 3 days later, on March 23rd, the Bobcats were home once again as they faced Northern Kentucky. Being just one RBI short of breaking the record, it was bound to happen soon, and with each plate appearance, you wondered when she'd break it, but after a flyout and a walk, you started to think that she might not break it in that game until the 6th inning. Katie Young on first base, and in Morgan Gino fashion, she did what she does well, hits a long ball, and that's something she has done her entire career. That two-run slam helped her team prevail once again in a 3-1 win. With those 2 RBIs, she totaled 139 for her career, surpassing the previous record of 137 set by Lauren Gerelman in 2013.
It feels pretty good. It's something I've worked hard for, just being here in general. Been through a lot of adversity, so it feels pretty good.
First-year coach Kenzie Rourke loves what Gino is all about.
You talk about Morgan, and she's the most selfless player. That you can ask for.
And that's not the only record of Gerelman's that she wants to break. Gino is currently at 34 home runs for her career to Gerelman's 48, 15 shy of breaking the all-time home run record as well.
Gino and the Bobcats will travel to Mount Pleasant, Michigan on Friday to take on the Central Michigan Chippewas.
Weather-wise, we had a beautiful sunny day today, but that may all change going into the next couple of days as rain is in the forecast. We'll talk all about that coming up when Newswatch returns.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
Welcome in, Hardwood fans. Now, as you know, we've already aired our season finale where you see all these great people behind me who made our all-hero and all-feature teams. But that doesn't mean our coverage stops. There are still a lot of teams in the playoffs and games left to be played. So if you want to stay up to date with all that and all the other TVC action, then go follow our social media. Like us on Facebook, add us on Snapchat, and follow us on Twitter. And always remember to be heroic.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Welcome back to Newswatch. It was just a gorgeous day out there today. Look at these highs in the upper 50s and lower 60s. High of 54 in Columbus today, 52 in Newark, 51 in Cambridge, 57 in New Martinsville. Warm spots were 59 and 58 in Ripley and Ironton, respectively. Mainly under cloudy to mostly clear skies as we went all across the area. Here's a look at the current winds. Mainly calm winds, not really dealing much in the way of winds. We see higher winds up in northwestern Ohio. That's mainly due to the flatness, relatively flatness of the land up there. All due to this pretty calm pattern in the jet stream. We're not seeing much. We kind of have a trough, which is why we started out pretty chilly today. That will eventually lift up north and really warm us as we go throughout the next couple of days. But a little cold front, it's a very weak cold front. It may stir up a couple of showers as we go throughout the next couple of days. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, let's get you through tonight. So hour by hour, 48 at 8 p.m., 43 at 10. 42 at 12. Clouds will clear out as we go throughout the night and will be mainly clear. Stargazers to light tonight. Just make sure you grab a jacket as you go out, as it will be quite chilly. 38 tonight will be our low. Again, chilly night, mainly clear and cool. Winds will be out of the west-southwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. So again, grab that jacket. It will be quite chilly all across the area. 37 in Columbus, 35 in Newark, 35 in Cambridge, 39 in New Martinsville, 41 the warm spot in Ripley, 42 down in Ironton. Mainly clear to partly cloudy skies. Clouds will stay overhead off to the further south and further east. Also up to the northwest in west central Ohio, but that's not really in our viewing area, so we won't really have to deal with much in the way of clouds tonight. Morning planner tomorrow, 40 at 8 a.m. So if you're going out to work or you're dropping off those kids at the bus stop, make sure they are bundled up. It'll be quite chilly. 50 at 10, warming you all the way up to 52 by noon. Mainly sunny to partly cloudy skies. Clouds will leave the area as we go throughout the morning tomorrow. 59 will be our high tomorrow. It'll be mainly clear and very warm. Winds will be out of the west-southwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. If you're going out for lunch tomorrow, have any plans after work or after school, tomorrow is a great day to do it. It will just be beautiful out there. 56 in Columbus, 55 in Newark, 54 in Cambridge, 55 in New Martinsville, 59 and 60 will be the warm spots in Ripley and Ironton, respectively. And that's all due again to this warm front off to the south and east. Along with that low, that'll push up to the north and really bring in warm weather. We have that high pressure, which is going to keep those clouds and rain showers away for the moment. But these rain showers out in Iowa and out in Illinois and Indiana will make their way in. Here's a quick look at the 10-day air masses. Warm air will surge in for Friday, bringing in much warmer temperatures for the weekend. Look at this warm air for Saturday and even into next Tuesday before another cold air mass comes in for Friday in the extended forecast. 70 on Saturday, 73 on Sunday with a chance of rain. Stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
A box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up. Energy in the fingertips collapse.
TV played Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Healthcare appears to be on the ballot in 2020 now that President Trump says he's pushing for a vote on the Affordable Care Act after the next election. Kelly Smoot reports on the latest Obamacare battle from Washington.
The battle over health care just got an extension. President Trump tweeting Monday that a vote on repealing and replacing Obamacare will, quote, be taken right after the election when Republicans hold the Senate and win back the House.
We'll go through the election. We have a very good chance at retaking the House, and we'll vote in the best health care package we've ever had.
Democrats quickly pounced.
The president tweeted that they will come up with their plan in 2021. Translation, they have no health care plan.
The White House sought to shift focus to the Democrats.
We also know Democrats are unwilling to work with this president to fix the broken system that we have, whether it's on health care, whether it's on immigration.
The president's latest shift coming a week after his administration announced it would back a federal judge's ruling that the entire Affordable Care Act should be scrapped, a reversal from the administration's previous stance that only portions could not be defended.
So we're going to get rid of Obamacare.
The president's decision meant that health care would be a central campaign issue for 2020.
Whether or not to repeal the ACA. I mean, he has put that on the ballot in a very direct way.
Until then, the legal challenges against Obamacare will continue to make their way through the federal court system. In Washington, I'm Kelly Smoot.
11 different employees are pregnant at the same time at a South Bend, Indiana hospital. They are work in departments associated with childbirth and say it helps them communicate with their patients more easily. Luckily for the hospital, they won't be out on the maternity leave at the same time. All right, Nick, and now let's head over to you for our final look at some weather.
Thanks, Caitlin. If you have any plans this weekend, it's just going to be beautiful. We'll talk about tomorrow first. 59 degrees, mainly clear, very warm day. Winds will be out of the west-southwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. All across the area, temperatures are just going to be beautiful in the upper 50s and lower 60s with mainly sunny skies. 56 in Columbus, 55 in Newark, 55 in New Lexington. Warm spot of 60 down in Ironton. Just gorgeous. And if you have any plans this weekend, it is just going to be beautiful. Mom's weekend is this weekend, I know that. So if you have any plans to go out with your mom this weekend, great weekend to do it. 70 degrees on Saturday, mainly sunny skies, 73 on Sunday. Rain moves in the afternoon. Rain likely on Monday, but a high of 75. Warmest weather we've seen all season before cooling you back down into the 60s on Tuesday. Caitlin?
All right, Nick, thank you. Yeah, I know the International Street Fair is this weekend too, so I know I'll enjoy that with that nice weather. All right, and that does it for our broadcast this evening. I'm Caitlin Coolidge. Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for NewsHour coming up next on this broadcast station. Have a great night.